Welcome back to PSS, my friends, and welcome to another installation of My Life on Disc. Though as this series is going on, I now realize that that could not be a more incorrect name because I'm playing everything digitally. I don't own anything on disc anymore, although I owned pretty much all of the stuff that's featured on here on disc at one point. So it's an analogy, you get it. Today's video game we are featuring is Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which came out very close around the time that Halo 3 did, which is the last game we did in the series. And our album is Black Label Society's Mafia, which is quite a bit shorter. It's only like 48 minutes compared to the previous album, which was well over an hour. It's probably a good thing because it's turned hot here, and I don't like to have a fan or anything running in the background for audio quality reasons, and I'll probably be dying by the end of this. So, yeah, this is probably a good thing. We're going to cut it short. I'm going to start off on Charlie Don't Surf because, I mean, Black Label Society, kind of American band, you know what I'm saying? So I figure that'll be a pretty good fit. We'll try that on Hardened, and we'll talk about games and metal. That's what we do in this series. Okie dokie. This might take a couple times of adjusting the sound balance, but it should be okay. I think this time I want to talk about the album first more. I can't hear anything in the game at all. Not that it matters a whole hell of a lot. Can't turn off the music or anything either. You're going to see some weird stuff because I got a bunch of stuff enabled in the settings that like initially wasn't available on this game, like ambient occlusion, playing on PC, so once again playing in a lot better state than I had initially played it on Xbox 360 when it came out 10 years ago, or almost 10 years ago at this point. And I'm not buying that dumpster fire of a remaster because of all the microtransactions, and to say the least, the multiplayer in this game hasn't aged very well because you rely on hundreds of milliseconds worth of latency to make it not completely unbalanced. But yeah, I'm going to talk about the album first. Since we talked about the game a little bit more last time. And God, this opening line is just so ridiculous. I love it. Yeah, Zakk Wylde. What do I even say about Zakk Wylde? I owe so much of my my want to play guitar, of my early days experimenting, getting the sound, owning a Marshall, owning a Les Paul, to Zakk Wylde. Ever since I was below 10, 7 or 8, I always really enjoyed Ozzy Osbourne stuff. Anything Sabbath, his solo ventures, especially Sabbath. But I really loved No More Tears on the radio. That was one of the things that my crappy radio station at home would play. And I loved the guitar in that. And, of course, Mom, I'm coming home. They had a couple. Oh, look at these guys, freaking ballers over here. They had so many, off that album that they would play, and I was like, man, that guitar is just fantastic. Who is that guy? And come to find out, Zakk Wylde. Learned his influences is Randy Rhoads and so many other classics, Jimmy Page, yada yada. And I just loved his play style. I loved the sound that he was able to get out of, Marshalls and Les Pauls and stuff that, as he said, his idols growing up always played. And traditionally not heavy, equipment, but he could just get this chug out of it that you can hear in this song, and make that guitar scream. And, of course, the pinched harmonics drew me in from day one as being super unique, at least at the time. Now everyone and their mother, it's halfway metallic will include, yeah, there you go, woo woo, as Ozzy calls them, the woo woos. But yeah, I was drawn to Zakk Wylde's playing style basically immediately, mainly because not just he was featured in Ozzy and music that I always liked even before getting into rock and metal as a primary source of music, because growing up where I lived, it was basically, like I said before, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, and basically anything country after that. So what I was always really impressed with Zakk was, number one, his range, and we might just die here. Being able to play this kind of stuff, then going to a southern rock jam, going to some of the most beautiful acoustic guitar you've ever heard, but then be able to rip a solo like this over top of it is just ungodly to this day to me. And few artists, oh shit, I did not notice that. But few people to this day can pull it off like he can. And it's something that I really hope that I can not really emulate, but just channel that feeling in a couple projects that I'm working on, one of which is a heavy southern rock inspired album, which I really, really like what I'm coming up with, and I'm trying to stick to his philosophy as well on songwriting. Zakk Wylde is not a technical player when it comes to the main riffs, and as he calls it, it's meat and potatoes. Listen, this song is just chug, 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 chug. Oh, wow. I need to pay attention. I can't talk and play on a harder difficulty same time. But when he comes to solos, it's natural, but it is technical, and that this rhythm as well, very, it's nothing crazy. And obviously, if you sing like he does, I can imagine why you wouldn't want it to be too crazy. I saw that one. But I really like that philosophy for that kind of music. Does it work for everything? No. But he can make, he could play through a 10-watt practice amp on a Squier Stratocaster with just single notes like this and make it some of the most heavy shit you've ever heard in your life. That's what drew me to Zakk from day one as a guitar player. I was quickly introduced by friends of friends. It was like, hey, he's got his own band. It's like, are you shitting me? And Black Label Society it was. And I heard Stillborn, I think, was one of the first songs. It was right after maybe 2004, I think, when I first heard it. Blessed Hellride came out in 2003. So it was fairly soon after that. I remember hearing it before they put it on Guitar Hero, because I did have that piece of knowledge to back me up. It was like, I'm not just a fanboy from playing it on Xbox 360. I heard this heard this guy beforehand. Good old Infinite Enemy Spawn here. But I received Mafia, this album, and Kings of Damnation, which I think came out in either right around that time, 2005, 2006, maybe a little later. I remember getting them both when I was 7th grade, maybe. That would put me around 2007. And my mom, bless her soul, she would take me to jazz band practice early in the morning. Me and a friend that grew up down the road, we should just take him on the days that I had to go in early anyway, because he lived right down the road, avoided the bus and that sort of thing. But we would jam on this album, and because of that, my mom is as big of a Zakk Wylde fan as I am. When my friends went to see Black Label Society, I guess 2 years ago, January 2015, she was adamant about going, so made sure she did. Both my parents went. They really enjoyed. That's something else that I really like about Zakk's music is I feel like I'm the one out of time with his stuff. Mostly it's the biker people, the anywhere from 40 to 60 year olds that I think listen to this kind of rock. Even though Zakk is 50 now, maybe, if that, because they saw him as a young kid in Ozzy, blah blah blah. But that's something that me and so many people I know have a connection, a musical connection with through Zakk Wylde's stuff, whether it be his solo ventures in Black Label or Pride and Glory. I love that album as one of the big things that inspired me to do a southern rock style heavy metal venture, even though mine's quite a bit heavier than what he does in Pride and Glory, but it's definitely inspired by it. But yeah, I really like Black Label Society for that. It's just put it on, raise hell, have a good time music, you know. Great boat music, great party music, great driving for several hours. It just it doesn't get old. It's simple, but it scratches an itch. You want to thank you, Vasquez. Jesus. This is one of my all-time favorite songs of Zach's too. Suicide Messiah. I was blanking here trying to think about which part of the mission I'm on here. But yeah, absolutely one of my biggest inspirations. And Zach is kind of in this strange range as far as musical appreciation goes, because I feel like Metallica gets the mainstream appreciation they deserve, maybe a little too much in some ways, but I think most of it's warranted, and you know, I'm not complaining. And I feel like the adamant fans like myself realize the parts that are overrated, realize the parts that are, you know, underappreciated. But I think it's safe to say that most Metallica fans that like all their music, and I could say I like, to a certain extent, something off of every album they've made, and can say that there's good parts of them all. I'm not one to immediately say, oh, Load and Reload sucks. But, you know, I can admit that Kirk Hammett's playing has slipped over the past few years. Lars Ulrich is probably among his fans one of the most overrated drummers of all time, but I still owe them a lot in terms of musical inspiration and my love for heavy metal. Zach, on the other hand, kind of is in this cognitive dissonance in terms of musical appreciation where, like, the mainstream has no idea who he is almost. It's weird. Outside of heavy metal stations, you're never going to hear his name. You'll never hear hardly anything about even his time with Ozzy, which was a long time before Ozzy kind of said, you're a grown-ass man, do your own thing. But yet in his fan base and the heavy metal guitar playing community in general, I feel like he's kind of has this status of sainthood, and I don't think it's completely unwarranted, but some of them, like, really? You know, he's a very talented guy, songwriting, everything, live playing, singing. I think he really is underappreciated as a frontman, but yeah, being as a part of his fan base, I can say that he is definitely overhyped in some ways, just as a general technical player goes. Same thing with Dimebag. Don't want to speak ill of the dead or anything, but I just think there's a lot of nostalgia goggles. I hate this part, by the way, on whatever I'm playing, Veteran or whatever. Hardcore, I think it is. But yeah, it's weird that so few people even know who he is, and, you know, comparatively. But in the circles that do know him, he's just like worshipped. And like I said, he's a great musician, but I mean, you just cannot compare the technical prowess of Zakk Wylde to people like John Petrucci. I would much rather listen to a Black Label Society record almost every day of the week than a Dream Theater record. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that as far as a technical player and innovator in guitar playing, he's great. But, you know, wah pedal, pinched harmonics, some pentatonic scales, that's mostly Zakk Wylde. So, but it's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, he's not some classically trained virtuoso. I feel like he just had a dream. That's what he wanted to do. He hated school. He would stay up all night playing guitar, sleep during the day, just jam, and he's made a hell of a career doing it. So I don't think he needs that false, you know, putting him on a pedestal. He's amazing enough without those, you know, false claims. So it's kind of weird, but yeah, huge Black Label fan, and I love all this stuff. So I'll let this album play on a little bit. Talk about Call of Duty, since I'm gushing over Zakk Wylde. Call of Duty, Jesus, what do I even say? This game was probably the beginning of the end for this series for me. Modern Warfare 2 was kind of the nail in the coffin of saying, oh, good, it's dying. But I played. Oh, good God. This is hard to talk and do this at a normal, halfway normal pace. I'm gonna try a different. Wait, maybe I should just quit running and gunning. I know this part though. If you don't push up in time, they'll keep respawning. Because I ran into this on Veteran on Xbox 360. But I'd play the previous Call of Duties, not 3, because it was on 360 and it was made by Treyarch at the time, and you know Treyarch was the new studio. Now there's freaking 3 studios working on it, the franchise. But I had no interest in it, and it was like, yeah, I don't even think I had a 360 when it came out. Dude, what is going on right now? Get back inside. So, I just didn't care, but I was always a huge Medal of Honor fan, and I didn't realize the situation of Medal of Honor and Call of Duty until this game came out. I didn't realize that Infinity Ward were the developers that broke off of the developers of Medal of Honor because they weren't happy with the way the series was going, so they made the first Call of Duty, which was a great game. So was 2, but you know, everything was World War II shooters back then. Unless you owned a PC, you were probably stuck with World War II, slow pace, not really. I mean, you know, Medal of Honor, some of the stuff, they had multiplayer, but it wasn't insanely competitive. It wasn't your Counter-Strikes. It wasn't Day of Defeat, which is on PC. It was just very casual. And then all that changed with Modern Warfare. And I'd always wanted something like this as a AAA game. I played a Marines game, I think it was, on the original Xbox, and I really liked it. It was tactical, it was slower paced, but I liked it because it was one of the first modern combat games I played on a console. And I was like, you know, this needs some more polish, and this would be fantastic. And enter Call of Duty 4. And this was the game-changing game, right? I mean, we have to thank this game, for better or for worse, for all of the Call of Duty-ized games that, you know, have the perks or equivalent of sprinting, loadouts, attachments, and there's more often than not games that will add it just because they feel like that's something they need to put on to have on their little checklist to appeal to the 13-year-old boy focus group or whatever. But this game was legitimately revolutionary in that sense, and it's crazy to think about 10 years ago the insane lineup of 2007. I mean, we had this game, Halo 3, BioShock, was the first Uncharted on PlayStation in 07 or was it 08? I don't remember, but there was something else on, seems like on PlayStation 07, but there was just a ridiculous lineup in 2007 in terms of games. Maybe the first Assassin's Creed, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, you ain't here, oh no. But this was the game changer in terms of what people expected out of a console multiplayer experience. And I never got into the multiplayer on this one. By the time I got Xbox Live, it was all Halo for me. I'd played 100% of the achievements on this game's single player. I still really enjoy the single player. Oh yeah, In This River, one of the best Black Label songs, of course, dedicated to Dimebag. This song like almost made me want to learn to play piano. Some blah 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 useless exposition. Who cares? But yeah, this game redefined what to expect, what people should expect out of a single player, out of multiplayer experience, in terms of, you know, modern combat. And oh yeah, the terrible EOTech scope. I need to drink water. Squiggly cup. But yeah, I mean, it's this game that we have to thank for the flood on the market and the inevitable saturation of modern combat games. We've come full circle, you know. It's still hilarious to me that Battlefield 1, and I'm part of the crowd, so I don't have much room to stand on, much of a leg to stand on. I even praised Battlefield 1 for breaking from the modern combat routine, because that's what it had been. It was, everyone's got to get their, quota of AR-15s and AK-47s and Barrett M82 50 calibers and saws and MP5s, and every game was doing that. And then when people were starting to say, hey, this is getting stale, they said, oh, don't worry though, now catch this, we're 25 years in the future, it's totally different. Didn't really fool too many people, I don't think. God, I hope there was no friendlies there. We dead now. But that's what we've been stuck with for years at this point. And I'm fairly certain, I didn't watch a reveal or anything, but the next Call of Duty is supposed to be World War II as well, going back to the roots, quote unquote. But we got so saturated from this game, or at least the aftermath of this game, that something like Battlefield 1 was like, oh my god, a break from the formula. That we never had a Battlefield or any type of game that, as far as AAA games go, that took place in, oh shit, drop shot, spray and pray, that took place in World War I. Had some indies, had some mods, but nothing of that significance, I would say, or that scale. So, yeah, this, I feel like I'm angry at it. I still am. Like, I hate this game in a way for the effects it's caused on the market. I feel like the ridiculous amount of success it had robbed many other good ideas. But we saw a lot of good ideas come up because of it as well. So, I mean, I can't complain too much, but it's like, geez, man, how many modern combat games can you do? And, I've bought many of them. Ones that were something that was innovative in some way, or a twist on the formula, like even the modern Medal of Honors. I like those a lot because of the difficulty, because they're trying to be more historically accurate than stuff like this, trying to be more realistic, or at least authentic feeling, where it takes, doesn't take 8 308s to the face. And that's the biggest thing that bothers me about, these Twitch shooters like this, that you get an army of 14-year-olds that think they know how to shoot real military weapons, or think that there's no such thing as windage or bullet drop or the Coriolis effect, or anything like that. So that is a huge annoyance to me, and I'm a bit of a gun nut, so even worse so than if I was just a gamer alone. But yeah, I love this song. He had one of those raw martial sounds in this I've ever heard, even compared to his newer stuff. Of course, now he's using his own brand of amps and guitars, because Wild is a sweet stage name, and I'd probably name all my stuff after that too. But yeah, I've definitely, in a way, am like, looking back, I had plenty of fun at the time, really enjoyed Battlefield 3 on console, loved Modern Warfare 2 for the first, month, and then multiplayer. I still really enjoy the campaign. Modern Warfare 3 was pretty terrible in all aspects. I played it about 24 hours online, and, 100% of the achievements, got I did the season pass thing because it was the last, Modern Warfare, and I was like, this is probably going to be the last Call of Duty I realistically buy, and I've only bought one since then, so I'm not far off. But, I do enjoy... Oh, yeah, I gotta get the javelin. Where's the javelin? Is this that point? There's no marker. Where's the javelin? I just run around like an idiot. That's fine. I'll run around like an idiot for a second. Maybe he's going to say something in a second. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed so many modern combat games, but at some point you're like, Jesus, dude, how many more could you possibly give me? There it is. I knew there was going to be a part like this. Come on, tanks. Something. By the way, it's not how a javelin works. Back then, they had black and white screens. Look at this magic. See them through the building. But yeah, in terms of realistically, if I could take one of them, of the Modern Warfares, and play it today in the intended way without it being completely broken, it would probably be Modern Warfare 2, just because of my online memories and the enjoyment I got out of it. It felt like such a huge increase in quality from this one in terms of graphical fidelity, general polish. But this game in particular still really shaped my view on single-player campaigns, on linear shooters, and I kind of hold some negative feelings about it because of that in some ways, but I still appreciate the good things it did, and most importantly, Infinity Ward, the people that got screwed over in 2009 left, and again, kind of seeing a pattern with them, and went on to make Titanfall, which is one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time. And 2 is really good as well, so, can't complain too much in that sense as well. I am super thirsty this episode, not sure why. Yeah, I guess pause on the game talk for a moment, talk a little bit more about Zakk Wylde as this song is coming to an end. This is, like I said, not my favorite album by his. Has some really good songs. I don't think there's more than a couple of his truly iconic songs. I mean, obviously you have In This River, but the first song, Fire It Up, and I love a couple of the other ones, like the last song, You Must Be Blind, Shovel Some More Dirt on the Grave. I think it's the last song on this album. Really, really good. But this isn't like my favorite. It's not, I don't feel like his showcase. If I had to pick one album to someone who never heard of it and say, listen to this guy, it would probably be 1919 Eternal for me, but I only listened to select songs off of that one, and it wasn't until later that I picked it up, his anthology, and as a whole, that's what I would say is my favorite. Blessed Hell Ride's close second. Blessed Hell Ride, Stillborn, Funeral Bell, Alone. Oh my God, that is another one of those, just like, what a raw song that is. So, technically simple, but boy, live, that thing is just, it is killer. So, yeah, this isn't like even my favorite single album of his, but like I said, I can't even tell you how many hours this thing was played back on the way to and from school on days that I didn't ride a bus. So I do definitely attach a lot of sentimental value to that. My first guitar that I got that wasn't just a starter guitar, my dad had like a Fender or a Squier Strat, and he never played it because he went back to strumming acoustic. His style never fit with that anyway. So I picked it up, and my first real guitar that I was, bought as a intermediate instrument, and one I still play to this day, you can see it on, at least one video on this channel, is the Epiphone Les Paul. And, oh, neat. I guess because I went out of bounds, it just blew up automatically. Oh, I just realized I've had the, how do you freaking get to it's the question. Nope, not that one. Not that one. I got a grenade launcher. I'm not sure how to get to it, is the thing. 5. What a very convenient place to put that. But what the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, my Epiphone Les Paul. Really, I got a Les Paul as the first guitar because of Zakk. So many other players have played it that inspired him, and I was thinking, I want something that's as my general first guitar, general purpose guitar. I want to have a decently stable bridge. I don't need tremolo. I want it to have a good, rich sound, not too heavy, but something durable, resilient. 2 humbuckers. Les Paul fit the bill, and I tried out SGs. I didn't like SGs for the longest time, and that's because I just never tried the right ones. I'd always tried the big, bulky ones with trim and the pick guards and whatever, but it wasn't until years later that I found out about the series that I ended up buying, and I'm in love with those things. But I bought a Les Paul because of Zakk, really. I bought or I was gifted a Les Paul, more accurately. I was gifted my Marshall solid state amp that I have right now that I use as my practice rig because of Zach. Not the greatest amp in the world, but it does, you put a Zach Wild overdrive on the dirty channel, you get his sound. So, I owe a lot of my early musical ventures to that guy, and overall he's seems like a genuinely decent dude, sober now, and he's a little crazy, a little try hard at times when it comes to the off the wall comedy, but I would love to hang out with him one day. I no doubt about that. Did I just shoot a friendly? I don't think I did. But and the thing I really like about Black Label Society as a band is Zach is not hell-bent on, oh, this is my band, and if you're in the band, this is, you're in the band, that's all you can do. It's not Metallica, where Jason Newsted couldn't even do I remembered you guys. I've died to you guys a bunch. I remember you. Couldn't even do, but then I get shot from behind anyway. It wasn't like where Jason Newsted couldn't even do a side recording because it was too big of a threat to James Hetfield's ego. It had nothing to do with scheduling, nothing to do with anything other than, not competition. It wasn't even the same freaking genre of music. But they didn't like it because, my bass player is playing for someone else, and I don't like it. So stupid. Zach sees it completely different. Said, you do right by me, playing the band, get along, you'll always be in Black Label Society if you want, a spot. And, it's not taken. We can probably work something out. And I really like that. Like, his evil twin, Nick, is no longer playing with them, which is unfortunate because when I went to see them, that was just around maybe a couple months prior he departed, Nick Catney's, but he's since been filled in by Dario Lorena, great player as well, but there's no bad beef between them. He's like, Zach, I got this project I'm really committed to, I want to do this, and he's like, no, go for it, man. We'll always have a home here, and I really like that about Black Label. It's kind of like a launching point as well for some folks. And a lot of drummers gone through there, a lot of bassists. I know James Lomenzo that played for them for a while. I saw him live in Megadeth before David Ellison came back. Robert Trujillo played a couple shows, if I remember correctly. Of course, recording, it's always Zach, but I really like that about them. Now the bassist has been pretty consistent over the past few years, but I hope one day, if and when I get in a decently consistent band environment, that I can do the same thing and have that environment where it's like, if we agree that I am the owner of the band, I'm the primary contributor of whatever lyrics, music, like they are. Not to say we can't do stuff as a band, but if I want to do that, I want that same kind of system where it's like you have a home here if you want it. Otherwise, I'm not holding you to shit. So I like that, and I respect him for that quite a lot. We done yet? Believe that's end this mission. I'm going to attempt to find a non-broken lobby in multiplayer after this to see if we can't get in a couple matches. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is the issue with attempting to recreate your adolescent memories on the PC non-Steam copy of the game. I just can't find a halfway normal server, so I'll research and refresh again, I suppose. Okay, I believe the impossible has been achieved. I think I'm in a halfway normal server. No guarantees. We got about 15-16 minutes of this album left, I believe. Looks like we're running... Is this a hardcore server? Can't tell. Either way, it didn't have... The thing you gotta watch out nowadays... Yeah, no kill cam. I'm fine with that. Is the ridiculous text you'll see on the servers, and they'll have stuff like, "Oh snap, you just got killed by..." Oh, I'm sorry, Terry. I'm doing bad. every time you get shot by the owner or something. So that's the thing. Also, this ambient occlusion is kind of cheating in this game because you can see people's outlines in the smoke because this engine was... What am I talking about? They're still using the same old engine. It doesn't even matter. Oh, we barely lost. I think that was entirely my fault. Oh, well. Yeah, like I said, I never really got into the multiplayer in this game when it first came out. I was big into Modern Warfare 2 because everyone and their brother bought that game. And I pretty much bailed after all the exploits became mainstream between players. But I did put like 2 weeks into that. The only thing that came close, well, I beat it with Halo 3, but I would say my top 3 multiplayer games on Xbox 360 were Halo 3, then Modern Warfare 2, then Battlefield 3 in terms of pure playtime. So definitely Modern Warfare 2 had my grasp. The Gears were up there as well, but not quite as much as that one was, because that's what so many, again, it was like one of those things like Halo where you just get a group of some of the most different people together and have a good time, because of this thing that you were unified in, which is really cool. Oh, is this the freaking censored version? That ain't no fun. But yeah, that's something else that I definitely hold good memories about. Can I do anything, man? My custom classes are abysmal. I recognize that, but I did revisit this on 360. I got a couple prestiges after Modern Warfare 3 came out because I was just so sick of that game. It had good ideas. It really did. It was just terrible execution because of the deadlines they were on that game. That was like the tipping point where it was like obviously blatantly obvious. I mean, Jesus. Can you tell I've been filming all day? That they needed to increase their cycle of games development more than just 2 years, because it was not cutting it anymore. Fortunately, we're up to 3, but that doesn't mean that Infinite Warfare was any good or anything like that. I promise you, I'm usually better than this, like a lot. Not what I want with that. But hardcore servers, I can't see anybody. I'm not using my full ultra wide monitor because content creation. It's not playing very well, but oh well. But yeah, I mean, this game has aged better on PC for sure because of all the mods and crazy crap. I mean, because they've not updated their old ass Quake engine. That's basically what this is. Every time, dude, I spawn with long range stuff. I get in short range fights. I spawn with a sniper rifle, and you know what I'm trying to say. Other way around. But yeah, like, I still enjoy this game. Jesus Christ, 1 and 8. I still enjoy this game today on PC because of the mods and whatnot. If I just, want to quickly jump in and have a good time. I feel like I got way more hit markers than just one person, but I guess I went through all the debris. I can't say I have the same enjoyment of the version that's on the console right now. It's not, you're not going to find people that are cheating nearly as often. Not that it happens all the time. I mean, you get in a server that does happen, you just leave and don't rejoin the server. It's the beauty of PC. I can't speak for the Steam version of the game because I got this standalone on disc for like, I don't know what I paid for it, $5. It was nothing. Someone was selling this, some of the Stalkers, the original Crysis, Fallout 3, Game of the Year, all on disc, and I was like, yeah, I'm taking that one. That last song's weird. I like it, but it's weird. And also very short. These last few songs are short. That's one thing I wish I could get away with, by at least by my own standards. I can't write short songs like that. Everything I write, even for the Southern rock stuff that I'm working on, is like 4 minutes minimum. That's the shortest thing I've ever written. And the longest thing I've ever written is like 9 as a single song, though I've had, productions that I feel like fit together that tell more of a story in 20 so minutes together. But it's weird. I just can't do that. Let out a couple riffs and call it a song type thing. 2 verses, 2.5 choruses or whatever. Just does not fly with me personally. I mean, like I said, I like that he does it. I just cannot adapt that to my songwriting. There we go. Starting to get a little bit better in the groove here. I saw someone moving. I told you. Might get me a attack helicopter this video. I'll be very happy. I like the song too. Now, unlike Death Magnetic, it has not been 7 years since the last time I listened to this album all the way through. Probably been a couple years. Individual songs off of it, probably as early as like a couple months ago. I don't jam to it all the time, but depending on the crowd I'm hanging out with, if they leave me in charge of the music, there's something Black Label Society coming on. I about guarantee it. It really does eclipse cultural boundaries, though. It's heavy. It's not overly, extreme, aggressive. But culturally, everything, it just age. Zach speaks to a huge audience, and I really respect him as a musician for that. Really envy him for that capability. You could just watch any of his interviews where he's hanging out with fans, and there's anything from kids just starting out playing to, like I said before, 40 to 60-year-old guys and women that have been following him since the No Rest for the Wicked days in Ozzy, which is also an amazing album in terms of his playing. Definitely, I don't feel like he got into his he was still kind of stuck in a 80s mold in some ways, but he definitely found himself in the later albums. Can I find someone? Not bad. Coming back from 1-8 to 8-12. Could be a lot worse. Now I don't even see anybody. 3 spectators, 4-on-4. This is really, really entertaining to watch, I'm sure. I want to go to a... Yeah, let's just do MP5 because I'm a little scrub. But yeah, I guess since this album is coming to a close soon, I'll give some wrapping up thoughts on the game and the album. As far as the game goes, like I said, I still get some occasional enjoyment just hopping on every now and then on PC. It definitely has had a lasting cultural impression on my age, and I don't even think that kids 3 to 5 years younger than me understand why all the stuff that has been happening in the gaming industry has. I think we have a lot to thank for, to give thanks for this game, and to point a finger and say, you did it! You're the reason for this. But regardless, this was, for better or for worse, one of the most influential games ever made. Just simple as that. And Halo 3 was too, I feel like. The original BioShock was, like I said, 2007 was just a colossal year for video games in general, especially for console owners. Crysis pushed, graphical fidelity on PC. Not the best game in terms of gameplay or story, but shit, it still looks alright today, even without mods. With mods, it's like still fine. This album aged really well. I feel like 10, 12 years, not that long in terms of music. I mean, mainstream music, yeah, it changes overnight. And, of course, they do these stupid analyses on what beat or what sound effect are going to sell songs. But in heavy metal, it's like, if it's a good album, it's a good album. It'll last a long time. Paranoid, Masters of Reality, Iron Maiden, so many classic albums still hold up to this day. And about all of Zach's works do as well. The first album of his, Sonic Brew, it's a little rough, but I think that was the point. I still like the songs on it. I just wish the production was better. This 1919 Eternal, even most of Stronger Than Death, God, it's still timeless to me. And I'm really stoked that he has his own recording studio, Black Vatican. I'm thinking eventually that I'm going to buy one of his signature guitars. There's some technical things about them that I don't like, his wild audio stuff. I don't mind that where they're made, you know, they're Chinese or whatever. I don't care if they sound good, they play good. That's what matters to me. The input jack location, some of the other things I just don't really care for, but there's one in like a brown burst that I'd love to have the original Grail guitar, right? I mean, I'd love to have the bullseye hanging up somewhere as decoration, but I would never play it live because I just don't want to copy someone else's guitar that's so iconic. But they have a brown burst one in the standard Odin Les Paul scheme that is beautiful, and I might get it one day. And no real interest in any of his effects right now, since I can just rip up a fractal patch on the AX8 whenever I get that. But yeah, he still holds a lot of influence over me today. And next time he comes by close to where I live, I'll probably see him again. Don't know about new album situation. I'm guessing there'll be one next year, 2018, because Catacombs of Black Vatican was 2014. The one before that was 2010. I think he had some acoustic stuff or something between that time. Obviously, he did Book of Shadows 2, which was not nearly as good as 1. It was still good. I liked it, but Book of Shadows 1 was fantastic. That just shows his range as a player, especially back then. But I'm looking forward to whatever he comes up with, if he does, choose to do that. I hope he does, because I really enjoy the past couple albums. This one I know is the last song. I really like this one. Just slam on the piano. I like the voice box, whatever effect that is. I'm assuming that's what it is. Plus his Crybaby wah, which is the wah pedal I own. I don't abuse a wah pedal like Kirk Hammett does, or even Zach does, but he's not nearly as bad as Kirk Hammett. Kirk Hammett's just like, it's on the point of distastefulness with him. At least Zach will pick up a guitar and practice every now and then, I can say that much. Jesus, man. Hey, our KD come back quite a lot in this match, so could be worse. On the subject of Call of Duty, though, I've not bought one since Advanced Warfare, and I said I was interested to see what Sledgehammer would do this time around, and if it is World War II. I've not even Googled it. I don't care enough to even look. If a article just so happens to grab my attention, I'll read it eventually, but probably not going to be making a purchase of one anytime soon, to say the least. Anything Treyarch's made, I don't care, since the first Black Ops. And, yeah, Infinity Ward's basically done. Oh, I'm sorry. You stepped in front of me. So, yeah, I'm probably done with this franchise. Besides, I'd like to own Modern Warfare 2 on PC as well. I'm assuming it'll get some type of remastered treatment in the next year or two. Not this next year, but next year, 2018 or 2019. Since they do... For whatever reason, they're doing 9-year anniversaries now instead of 10 years, I guess because they always plan something bigger for the 10th year, like they did for Gears. It was Gears 4 came out 10 years after Gears 1, so they did the remaster the year before. But if they would just do it, reskin it, and be done with it, I would totally buy a remaster of Modern Warfare 2. But if they treat it like they did with Modern Warfare 1, a bunch of camos and shit, that microtransactions, new weapons, completely changing the balance of the game, no, absolutely not. So, that's my opinion as far as that goes. Is this match ever going to end, bro? 6 more minutes, and we are not even close, are we? Nope, not even close. And this album's about to end any second now, so... and they keep moving teams around and shit, so... I believe we'll call that end of a video. Whereas, Death Magnetic and Metallica, Halo 3 had kind of an intrinsic connection where, you know, I bought stuff for them the same day and I played with them a lot. This one, I never really played a lot of music listening to Call of Duty, but I definitely listened and played this game, listened to the album, played this game a lot at the same time period. And they kind of mirror each other in the fact of just how influential they were on me, both positively and negatively. So that's why I decided to group them together for this video. So I hope you enjoyed that. I sure do enjoy these. I know this isn't a popular series at all on our channel, but I do, you know, something feel artistic about this for me, kind of going back through and listening to stuff that I normally wouldn't listen to in full and playing some old games. So appreciate it if you stuck around. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time with I don't remember, so I'm not going to try to even act like I do. Stay tuned. You'll see it if you subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm going to hide in this corner. Bye.